Welcome to the Harding County School Library. This is Miss B, the librarian, and I would like to welcome you to a lesson on the podcast. What is a podcast? Well, simply, it is a digital recording that you, the students, are going to learn to do and to download onto our school's website, which is linked to the library's website. What is your job in this? Well, you must remember what a podcast is. Remember, it's a digital recording. Then you're going to read a book, preferably for an elementary student, one that you enjoyed when you were in K, first or second grade. Then you're going to write a 5-sentence essay about the book. I'll tell you more about that later. And finally, you get to create a podcast. Remember, that's a recording of your very own voice. What is this 5-sentence essay? Well, it's simply a script for your podcast. It's what you are going to be reading into the computer to make the podcast. It must include characters, you know, the who of the book. It also must have the setting. Is it in an apple tree? Is it in a classroom? Is it out in the prairie? Or is it in the spooky library at night? And of course you must include the plot. What's happening? What's going to happen? But remember, your essay, your script, does not tell the ending. No spoiler alerts here. The recording is done right on the computer, and you will be practicing reading your script before you record so that you're very polished. Remember, you're going to use inflection in your voice. If it's an exciting story, you're going to have an exciting voice. If it's a sad story, you're going to have a sad voice. And if it's a story that's a mystery and has lots of questions, be sure to use that kind of voice. You also must speak very clearly, and even though you're talking into a computer, you must speak very loudly so we can hear all the important things you have to say about that book. Let me explain the sound recorder. It is sometimes called a voice recorder, and it's located on our option list of our computers. You will click on it to bring it on the screen. Once you have clicked the start button, you may start speaking. When you are finished, you're simply going to click that button again, which is now turned to a stop button. When you have stopped recording, a file box pops up, and that's where you will save your recording using your name as the file name. Once that recording has been saved, we can go back and get it back up and preview it. Your classmates will be listening to how you talk, and we will all be deciding whether was that a good one or should we redo it. I will listen to it, you will listen to it, and your fellow students will listen to it. Once we decide it's ready to roll, we will download it to the library's website. After that, we need to advertise, so we're not the only ones that know about our podcasts. Where are we going to advertise our podcasts? Well, we're going to ask Mr. Page if he will please highlight them in his monthly school newsletter. We also will be advertising them on the library's bulletin board right outside the library. And we will also advertise on the elementary classes dojo. You're all familiar with that. Lots of different places to advertise, but the best one is word of mouth. Tell your friends, tell your family to listen to our podcasts. Our advertisements for the bulletin boards will simply be a poster of the book. You may choose to recreate the cover, or maybe a certain character in the book, or a setting that you would like to have. Or maybe there's one page that has a picture that you would like the kids to be looking for. You'll make that into a poster. I will take your picture and put it beside the poster, and we'll mount those on the library's bulletin board. Before we mount those, I'll make copies of those posters so that we can hang them in the elementary hallway and take some downtown to the public library so those people can be aware of our podcasts. According to our friend Garfield, everyone who can read should. And your podcast is a way to reach out to others to encourage them to read books that you've enjoyed. A short review about the podcast. Remember, a podcast is a digital recording. It is a review of a book for the elementary student that you enjoyed yourself. A podcast is a recording of your voice. It's a way that you can leave your mark in the library. And remember always to save your podcasts so that we can upload it or download it to our own website here in the library. Remember, the library's website is linked to the school's website, Hardin County School. Thanks for listening, and let's get busy.